Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me in my shop here. It's June 30th, last day of June. Another cool day here. No sun, all gray, maybe a bit of rain. I feel so sorry for all those people in the world who are just frying or floating because of heavy rains. And I'm certainly not suffering here from those kinds of things. So I feel very sorry for all those people losing so much. Yeah, okay. What to do about this radio? So, radio's working really well, actually. I'm left to do the alignment, the RF alignment for the shortwave. And there's a couple of capacitors here, paper wax capacitors. I should probably get rid of them rather than leave them there, even though the radio seems to operate really quite well. Every capacitor I've taken out that I've tested has proven to be weak. Leaky. Leaky is the word for it. So I had been looking at this just before I turned the camera on. This capacitor, I can see its connections are just here. That's a pretty easy one to replace. The other capacitor is this one. It goes down and meets the top of the chassis here, and there's a hole, and the lead from the capacitor goes through the hole. It's the underside of the chassis. There's two more wires, so there's three things going in this hole, which you can't see right now behind here. On the other side, I can only find two things coming out. There's three things going into this hole and two things on the other side. So some kind of magic is occurring here. And what I really need to do is find out where the other lead for this capacitor is actually connected. So we're going to look at this with the with my other little camera. If I can find it. Where did it go? Where could it have gone? Here it is. There it is. Looking at the oscilloscope here. So I'm going to have to fix the focus on this camera before let me stop for a sec here. Okay, you can see where the camera is looking, and this is what you see through that camera. And you can see quite clearly one of the capacitor connections right here. But it's really this other capacitor that we're interested in, this one here, which is, can't see it from here. This might be tricky to get on a camera. Need a little bit of a different focus here. Let's see if I can get this to sit. There we go. Interesting view of the top of a capacitor. I'm going to change the focus now so we can see further down. So the hole I'm interested in is this one here. Yep, that's the hole. Okay. So we're looking at the right hole. So now, so you see the bottom of the capacitor there, right at the hole. You see a yellow wire coming from the tuning capacitor, and then a black wire or dark wire coming up the side of the coil here and attaching just below that mica capacitor. So three things going through there. Let me just see if I can get a little more light on it. You can kind of see the third wire, the end of the capacitor, the lead disappearing through the hole. There's really no question it's going through the hole there. I can see it. Okay, I'm going to flip the radio over and look at the same hole from the other side now. Flip it over. Now the hole we're looking at, let me just get a stick here. The hole we're looking at under that capacitor. Is that the right hole? Must be the right hole. Right in here. Now we can see, can't see much. So there's a green wire coming up right here. That could be the capacitor lead. And there's a yellow wire. Oh, no, that's the lead from the capacitor. There should be a third wire. This is the problem I'm having. I really only see 2 wires coming up through there. Okay, I'm turning it around, look the other way. Can't even see the hole. How does this work? Suppose I could cut the capacitor free and then tug on it and see if that wire moves under there. This didn't help. I thought for sure I would see it. I can move that capacitor a little bit. Oh, it's too stiff. Wait a minute, maybe I just did see the other. I think I see the other wire. I think it's coming up to the switch here. Let's go back to the other camera. I mean, it has to be there. So I'm looking from this angle. You won't know what I'm looking at, but I think I'm looking at it right now. Looking at it, the third wire is, yeah, there, I'm moving it. Okay, so the third wire comes up to here, to the switch. So this one here is almost certainly the capacitor right here, because it's the right sort of kind of wire and it's the right length. There's no way the capacitor lead could make it all the way over here, and that's the wrong kind of insulation. This is a hookup wire, so I'm pretty sure this is the capacitor here. Pretty sure. Okay, that's good. Okay, I think I'm ready to start doing some actual stuff here now. We'll go after that first easier capacitor. Go after the easier capacitor first. We'll do this guy here. And is it I believe on the schematic there were 2.07 capacitors. This terminal and right to the antenna terminal. Hanging on to something. There we come. 007. This one looks to be the same. So these are probably the two 007s. Okay, I'm going to replace this one. One must be for one band and the other for the other band, I believe. Not necessarily, but it sure looks that way. So I'm going to replace those two capacitors and then we will test this radio again. Okay, got one replaced. I've cut the top lead for this one. One I think I know which one it is down here. What I want to do is see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to push and pull the wire and then see the capacitor move up on top. That's just further proof I've got the right thing here. Looked like it moved. Okay, we're going to nip this wire. So I'm pretty convinced I got the right one. Beat this wire right here. It should free up the capacitor. Going to be a 0.07, I bet. 0.007. Good show. Okay, fit one of these in. Good. Okay, we'll get that installed too. Well, you call me stupid. I'm sitting here working close to this coil, and I'm literally saying to myself, see the light wire there? You don't want to break it, as I broke it. Because I had this big pair of pliers and I was working away on the capacitor lead. Well, this is a new problem now. Hopefully I can just solder it back, but oh my gosh, as I was thinking about it, I'd have to set the focus here a little bit closer. Just bear with me a moment here. I'm pretty upset now, very upset. I'm gonna try to calm myself down. We'll take a look at it. And then okay, and it's supposed to go here somewhere. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I'm looking for the end of the wire and I am not seeing it. Oh, stupid of me. Really, just while I'm thinking about not breaking the wire, I am breaking it. Oh my gosh. Okay, break time. It's break time here. We have wrecked this radio for crying out loud. Yeah, I'm gonna go calm myself down and clear my head here. Darn it. Okay, I think I've calmed myself down enough here. I faced this problem a few times. In a couple of cases, it's been my fault for breaking a wire. In other cases, they're broken, maybe not by me. And the problem here is jumping out of the pan into the fire. That's the problem. Now, I'm looking at the wire way up here. Wait, we can see a little bit of copper right up in there. Then I'm looking right at the end of the wire here. So this looks like a single conductor to me. Yet over here we can see a bundle of conductors. Is that of any significance in the scheme of things? I don't know. We also look at how much wire came out here. Now, just before I yanked this out, as I was pondering how dangerous it was, this was something like this. It was something about this dimension here. Which kind of gives me a range where the wire must have come out of the coil, been yanked out of the coil. I'm trying to make as many observations as I can before I take any action. And I'm going to pull this tube out here too. This tube right beside here. lot more access. Yeah, a lot more access here. If I'm lucky, I'm going to spot the end of it sticking out. I mean, that would be ideal. Is that the end of it down there? Well, it sure looks like it, doesn't it? So what I see is some wax that's been disrupted. It's become light colored, I think, because of the disruption, and then it looks like some wires sticking out. Okay, let's poke right at that because this is a very likely spot. Let me move this wire out of the way here. So I'm trying to watch this on my. I have a big screen TV in here. I'm trying to watch it on the big screen. Okay. I don't know. Is that a wire? Yeah, it looks like that might be the wire right there. Now, it's got wax on it. How can I get that wax off? Obviously by heating it. Very, very, well, you know, a little bit of soldering, holding the soldering iron near it might be enough. And let's just start my soldering iron up again. When I look at that, it does, you know, it looks like it's coming out of the twisted bundle that was heading up to the termination that we were looking at. Does that make sense? I should look more on this. Look around more. I haven't really got around the far side here, so a little tough to fit the camera in. What's that down under there? Well, it looks like the wire, the one that goes up, the bundles of wires that goes up there, looks like it drags over top of the coil, the one coil, and comes down to the other. This one, let's see, we can see the wires here. Ooh! Shiny aluminum looking wire. Well, it's not aluminum, I'm sure of that. Well, that's an unusual, I mean, that should be insulated wire. Or at the very least, varnished wire. Pretty sloppy looking coil. Could be it's wound in a very, very special way inside there to try to control the capacitance between the wire leads. Same thing with this coil up here. And why are there 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 lead wires? It's all to try to control the impedance of the coil and make it ideal for what the engineer is trying to achieve. Now looking up under here. So it looks like, do I dare pick it apart here? Why would I bother picking that part? I'm thinking of picking the bundle wires off the bigger coil. Just pull them off so I can see that they really are not part of the bigger coil. And prove that they really go down to the lower coil. But why do I want to break more wires, Jim? Just start tugging. And you'll break more wires. Then we'll have a real mess. I'm going to have to pick away at this. I do have the soldering iron warmed up now. Let me see if we can just melt away a bit until It's just, wow, it's just right on that other bundle of wire. Ay, ay, ay. I certainly need something very, very fine to operate with. So here's a sewing needle. This is it for a machine. You see, that's the point of the needle. Oh, yeah, see, you can just get underneath here. Doesn't seem to go past. See, it seems to go into this coil. Yeah, so the wire I broke, did it come out of this lower coil? Oh my god, I don't even know which coil it came out of. I thought it came out of this top one. You know, I did not look at it very closely. I don't think I got any close camera shots of it or anything to really spot where it comes from. So they must have built this coil and then dipped it in wax, and that's how wax got on everything. Why do I think it goes to the lower coil? Because I can see something. I can see something. Let's get a little more light on the deal here. So it looks like the bundled wire has been torn away a little bit from, like, right in here. It's been pulled away at some point, and that's probably maybe fractured the wax here, and a chunk has disappeared that would have been there. Did I do that? I don't know. Now it comes down here. That's the point of a sewing needle. There's not much of a point on it, eh? Well, yeah, the point must be broken off. I'm sure that's what's happened to this needle. So far I have not seen anything that would strike me to be the end of the wire I need, other than that funny little spot. Let's poke at this funny little spot here some more. See, maybe the wire I'm after. That wire. What is that? Doesn't strike me that that's wire. If this were the wire, and it's coming out, and I'm pulling on it by accident, I could see it breaking right here because it's held by this other chunk going over top of it. You know what I mean? It couldn't peel out any further. Peel out? Is there an area where it peeled out? I mean, this thing broke without me even feeling it. Mostly because I was applying a lot of power. So you kind of see the wires kind of going underneath the upper coil. So I have to run upstairs and deal with my dishwasher for a moment. Okay, hold the fork right there. Okay, so I've just walked into my shop and I looked up at this camera shot and I see what could be not very likely. I was going to say maybe I can see the tidbit of wire that I need to find sticking out, but fat chance. You'd think. So what I'm looking at is this little thing right here. I'm pointing at it now, right? That little thing. Can't imagine. See, like when I broke this, yeah, it's just dirt. When I broke the wire, I had to pull on it hard enough to cause the wire to break, even though I couldn't feel it. That must have pulled the wire out of the wax to some degree. There must be some wax damage. What if it's farther around here and I really haven't even found the spot yet? What if? Let's see if I can get my camera way in here. just hoping at some point I'll get a glimpse of a piece of wire sticking out. That's the new capacitor right there I was just putting in at the time of the disaster. Well, maybe that's a hint. Well, not really. I had a pair of pliers and I was busily bending the wire up here when it broke. That's a lot of wire. That's a lot of wire. Now it was sticking out. This is probably the part that was farthest out, and then the rest of it was probably bent back, something like that. I wonder if by some chance I do have an image of this. So one of the things I can try to do here is melt away some of this wax. Melt away some of the wax and then look for the end. How would I melt it? Well, I have a hot air gun. I could apply it. I can melt this stuff off. Now, what do you do with melted wax? You gotta absorb it into something? Could it just go into paper or, like paper towel or something like that? Something has to absorb it away. Okay, something has to absorb it away. I think that's what I gotta do, because I'm not seeing any end of any wire. I'm not seeing anything here. Okay, I'm gonna think about this a little bit before I do it, because maybe it's damaging. Hope not. And give myself a little bit of time to think of a better idea. Okay, I'm going to try melting off some of the wax and see what more we can see. I think that's a fairly low risk thing to do. Let me get my... oh boy, is this even going to reach? Yep, it'll reach. Okay, we're going to switch this on. So this is temperature controlled. It's set for 100 degrees C out of here. Takes a while though. So I'm going to switch to this camera so you can get a bit of a close-up view. And let's pull this wire out of the way. Okay. Now, I can't direct the heat very specifically here. Just spin this around a little bit. Okie doke. Okay, I'm applying the heat now. I didn't think of what to soak it up with. I need something to soak it up with here. Hold on. Too many things going wrong at the same time here. Spin this way around. I need something to soak it up. You know what would be good? Actually, maybe a small bristled brush. I think I'm just kind of heating it up generally here. Oh no, it's melting. Okay, I need a I do need something to soak it up here. Okay, let's stop for a second. Hold it forward. Okay. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a practice session there. I need either, maybe toilet paper would be good to soak it up and mop it up, or a Q-tip. I'm going to get all these things into my hand here so I have them. Okay, let's try this again. I've got some Q-tips ready, a little bit of toilet paper, got a brush. Switch to the other camera. Now, what if the wire's kind of around the back here a little bit? So I'm going to move the camera just as far around as I can get it. Yeah. It's another curious spot right, my great big finger, right there. There's a spot right there. Yeah, great big finger. Let me get the needle. Ooh, a little bit of hot air coming out there. That might be it right there, you know. Okay, maybe it's a job for a fish knife. Let's give it a shot here. Where'd that spot go? I touched it. Let's melt that off. Melt off the area. Here we go. Start the melting. So the camera is right exactly where I want the melter going here. Okay, quickly. Oh boy, she's really coming apart here. I wasn't watching so carefully. Let's leave it like that for now. I think it went solid again almost immediately. So, you know, you're staring at your screen and I'm only looking at what you're looking at briefly. I'm looking at other stuff around my shop doing things. So you may have seen something that I didn't see. It's definitely a loose end over there. I'm pretty sure the first thing I thought was the wire is the wire. Let's see if I can get a grab of it. I really need a pair of tweezers here to do this. Oh my gosh. Yep, whoop, let me put on something I've overlooked. I have my own magnifier here. You know, those things you wear in your head. I have a stereo magnifiers. Okay. Now I'm no longer looking at the screen. I'm just looking straight at it. Tease this little piece out. What is that? Oh boy. That little piece there, I just don't think it's a wire. Let's look at the broken end of the where did the rest of the wire go? There it is. So if we look at the end of this wire, oh, the end's way out here. What is it insulated with? It looks like a cloth covering. Jeepers creepers. This is the last thing I wanted to be in. Jackpot here. Well, this hasn't worked out. So I'm going to turn the cameras off. I'm going to make my own close inspection, and because I can use better close-up tools, you know, through like magnifiers and whatnot, and see if I can't find the end of the wire in there somewhere. Good luck to me. Okay, I think that turned out to be a good move under strong magnification and with a little bit of boldness. What I did was I moved this bundle of wire off to the side, and then I pulled on that little piece that was out here, and it turns out it is the wire. See, there's the little white piece there. It's the wire. Okay, don't toy around with it too much. That's what I got to connect back to. So I got to clean that off. Probably a flame would be good for that, but you know, if you put a flame to this, like from a cigarette lighter or something like that, you can melt the wire right off. Gone before you know it. So that's a little tricky too, to do without damaging the wire using a flame. Not maybe the best idea. Soldering iron's probably a better idea. Put the soldering iron on that, melt off the wax, clean the end, make the connection, cross my fingers, and I think I got it though. And I don't think I've done any damage anywhere. That's the main thing, is to not dig the hole deeper while you're trying to fix this stuff. Yeah, so we just have to put those ends together. So that's the order of things, is soldering iron. Let me warm it up. And magnifiers were really helpful. Get in there really close. While we're waiting for the soldering iron to warm up, let me show you something here. I see people doing the wrong thing all the time. So let's say this is a magnifier. Now this is an unusual one, but let's say it's one of those, you know, classic ones with the handle and the big circle here. I see, and I don't have one in here. I have them back in my office. I see people will hold them at arm's length and do this thing, you know, like this thing, to try to bring it into focus. That's not the way to use a magnifier. Not at all. Ask any jeweler. You hold the magnifier up against your eye, and then you bring your head with your eye in it down to the work to look at. So I will demonstrate. You put this up against your eye, and then you come in to look. What that gives you is a big field of view. Whereas if you do this, this is hopeless. This is a foolish thing to do. So up against your eye and do that. Any magnifier works better that way. Okay, by now the soldering iron is plenty hot, so let's go back to what we're going to try to do here. So the objective is to melt off the solder, get some clean metal, melt off the wax rather, and get some clean metal here for soldering. Oh, there's solder all over this thing. Let me get the solder off it. Can't get it all off. Maybe if I do this. Okay. I think I took the solder off it. As much as I could anyway. Swoosh. A bunch of wax rolled down to the bottom of the wire. Gee, if I'd had the wire tipped up, the wax would have run back. What's that junk out on the end here? Okay. Now, not to go too far, Jim. Don't get carried away. Everything just a little bit. Okay, now, if we examine that wire, which I can't even really see the end of it right now. Well, it looks like there's some solder actually got onto the, whoops, whatever it was, it broke off. Is there more than one wire in there? I don't think that's bundled. I think that's a single conductor. Oop, wrong wire. Still got a lot of wax on it there. I don't think I would want to put a solvent on that at all. And you know, like tugging on it to wipe the wax off, and you're going to break it again. Because this wire broke, I didn't even feel it go. So I could try to prepare the ends of the wire as best I can as it is, and then try to twist up as much as I can, and then apply solder and just hope somewhere in there there's a metallic bridge formed. I don't really know what else to do. And you know, normally I would just grab the wire with some sandpaper and, you know, sand away, but this wire is so flimsy. And then how do you know you've made a connection? The only way would be to test the radio and see if it really works. I think I gotta get more of the wax off it. I do have some weird chemicals here. I have something called Flux Off. That's a dangerously named product there, Flux Off. Let's take a look at what this does. And I'm sure it's not appropriate, but let's, just for fun. Removes all types of organic flux. What is it exactly? Fast cleaning action, removes all types of organic flux, self-cleaning, no brushing, excellent for spot flux removal, non-flammable, safe for most circuitry materials. Keep saying organic flux removal sprays, penetrating solvents, even the toughest deposits without harming delicate circuitry. Flux Off. That's just a terrible name. Flux Off in aerosol form provides a constant, fresh supply of solvent, preventing recontamination, making it more desirable than bath defluxing. Spray 4 to 5 inches from the surface, penetrating high-power spray quickly washes away dirt and flux without. Yeah, I can't. No, this is like for spraying on a board, not contents. What is it exactly? Contains 97% active ingredients of azeotrope of trichlorotrifluorophane and methylene chloride. Now, doesn't that stuff sound like something you want to spray on your cookies for dessert? Really good stuff there. Trichlorotrifluoroethane. I'm going to put this back on the shelf. I mean, really, I don't think I have anything else that claims to. I have contact cleaners, rust inhibitors, hydrolylated methyl something or other. What is this doing in here? Salon formula. This is a nail polish remover. Hey, nail polish remover. But you know, I don't put any solvents on there. I can't control where they're going to go. They're going to go here and there and everywhere. I've got kettle cleaner. I've got, what is this? You say, how come I got all these chemicals? I don't even know what I got. Trichloroethane. Okay, I like looking at chemicals, but I'd really rather stay away from those. Maybe try the soldering iron again, try to sweep away the much wax as possible. Maybe put the wire on here and then hit it with the soldering iron. Wax goes into the paper. Why don't we try that? Let's try that one. Okay, soldering iron's still hot. Just move the wire a bit. It's very stiff. Okay, soldering iron working its way over here. How did I do? And you're watching your screen. I'm looking at the thing with just my unaided eyes. I can hardly see what's here. Oh, it looks pretty good. I think that's shiny copper at the end there. I really do. We need to try to make a connection to that right there. Now the other end of the wire, is it shiny at all? Just trying to get it so we can see it better. I wouldn't say so. Got a little more wire here to work with. How are you going to clean that? Sandpaper maybe even far too coarse for that. I'm going to try it though. A little piece of sandpaper here. I'm going to try to pinch the wire and I'm going to hold it back with a pair of pliers. Good luck to this one. Only because there's a lot of wire here. I'm going to have to see what I'm doing. Okay, holding. Oh, look at that. Pulled it right off. I don't think we want to do that again. I just lost like how much wire? Maybe looks like about 3/4 of a centimeter just disappeared. But it looks more copperish, doesn't it? Now, they had to twist these guys together, hit them with solder, and just pray it works. That's about where I am at now. Okay, where did the that's this guy connecting to, where's the other guy? Where'd the other guy go? Wait a minute. Oh, okay, I see them. You're probably looking at them. Okay, to do this, I have to move the camera you're looking through because it's just right in the way. And so the object here is to get these two guys. Get more delicate wires here. Get these two wires somehow twisted together. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? Yeah, right. Okay. Now you might feel a slight tug. That's something the doctor would say to you at this point. Oh boy. That's not working. It's one wire I can't. Lap up there. Oh boy. Okay. Got them crossed now. I'm going to try to grab them and then twist. This is the big... Grab them. And, oh, I only got one. I don't see any bare copper here. You know what I could do? Oh, change the plan, change the plan, change the plan. Change the plan. Right, so the original wire that's coming down from the terminal that's hanging out here, I don't need that wire. I can use a different kind of wire. I'll put a different wire in there, make it a lot easier to connect to the, instead of having two floppy breaky wires, I'll just have one. That's a good idea. And all I need is just a little short length of wire to solder in there. Okay, I got a much better plan here. While I was getting a little piece of wire ready, I saw that in fact the lead from the capacitor I put in, I hadn't cut it clear. I hadn't even soldered it yet. Here it is here, and it's very useful. It's sticking right in the right spot. Now one of these wires is actually not needed. That's this one here. Just going to pull it out of the way. That's the original. All I got to do now, and you can see the wires practically in contact there. It's very hard to see, but maybe if I do the poor man's 3D shot. There we are. Ooh, that's a good shot of it. You can see what I'm trying to do there. Is make those wires solder together. Wow. Okay, so if I just bend this guy up a little bit, not that one, this one, until it's in contact. Ooh, I'm bending the whole, look at the terminal moving in the form. I'm thinking. That's what's going on. I'm just tapping it and thinking. Okay, I think I need to put a pair of pliers on there and bend it more with more control. Okay, now the wire. Where's my needle? Found the needle with the point still on it, I think. Yeah, we got one needle with a point still on it. We'll use the pointed needle. Well, it's in contact now, but it's not much of a contact, is it? I mean, how much solder can I get onto that? You bend this wire, bend the wire downwards. Maybe I can do it with my finger. It's actually going to break the terminal off the form. Okay, I bent it down. That's better. Come on, little wire. Ooh, that's really good. Now, is it in contact with the other one? No. He's got it just a wee bit better, and that's, famous last words. Well, I'm just going to make this a little bit better. I don't think I can, actually. Yes, I can. There it is. That's it. I'm going to solder that. Okay, here. Wow. And it wasn't just the one moment there I was telling myself to be careful around these wires when I broke it. The whole time I've been fiddling around up around here, I'm quite conscious that there's the light, thin wires. Apparently not conscious enough, though. Only semi-conscious of this stuff here. Okay, let's hope this solves the problem. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to heat the wire. Oh, dirty soldering iron. I'm going to heat the wire up and try to make the solder kind of flow onto it. Because if I touch that wire, it's going to move. Oh my God, this is... Right on it. Come on, solder. Get on it. It's not going on it. It's not going on it. Oh my God, I'm having a hard time doing this. Ooh, that got it. I mean, a nice big ball of solder on there. Big ball of solder right on the wire. Come on, man. It's not taking it very good, is it? That's not a good sign. Not a good sign. Well, it may have done it. That may have done it. We have to find out. How do you find out? You have to turn on the radio. That's the only way. To turn on the radio. See if it works. Man, you know what? The old wire's just sticking out here looking for trouble. Let me just move it over. Okay, we're going to find out now if I've succeeded in resurrecting this radio from my own mistakes. But first, I'm going to go drink some coffee. Okay, so I almost forgot to solder one with the capacitor leads. I've replaced those two capacitors now. There's one. And I almost forgot to solder the lead. Can you imagine if I didn't solder this and it didn't make contact, then I would attribute the radio's failure to work to the wire that I've been working on. I would have gone to town on that. Haven't forgotten about this. Wow. There's many ways to get things wrong and only a few ways to get them right. Sometimes only one way. So that would be an example of entropy, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm going to turn it over. There's the two capacitors out. So I'm testing this with two new capacitors too. But, I mean, it is in the kind of the RF side of things, so it shouldn't be really a problem. Let's get this out of here. Okay, can't delay any longer. The volume is down. We are switched to broadcast. This is the broadcast coil I've been working on. Antenna is connected. The ground for the antenna is connected. Over there, I've switched it on. We're ready to go. 3, 2, 1. So I give this a 50-50. To me, this is a 50-50 chance that those wires made an electrical connection sufficient to operate the radio again. The capacitor I replaced in here is simply in series with the antenna input line. So we're just ignoring that noise. It really sounds like an engine, doesn't it? It starts up slow and builds up speed. It's inconsistent this ticking noise, inconsistent operation. I don't know, somebody got a gas-powered sump pump or something that comes on every morning? I don't know. Gas-powered sump pump. So, good news, radio works. Woo! Wow. So this noise always appears on the ground. See? Vitamin D, eh? I take a vitamin D pill every day unless I'm out in the sun, directly in the sun, and I don't bother with it. But otherwise, all winter I take a vitamin D pill. Everybody's short on vitamin D. Well, there we are. You know, I'm going to end it here today because the news is good at this point. I think I better just leave it alone for now. And tomorrow I will carry on with whatever. What was I doing? I was going to change these two capacitors. I did it. Hey, I managed to do it. Let's leave it for tomorrow to do the final alignment, back in the cabinet, all that stuff. And wow, that was a close call. Hey, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll carry on tomorrow. Finish it off tomorrow. See ya.